make a better game than me. In this video, I'm gonna make a game myself and then I'm gonna use an AI to make the same game and we'll see who made a better game. The AI I'm gonna be using is called Rosebud AI. Here you can create games with zero coding and just using text prompts. You know, like you use ChatGPT, but the twist is that ChatGPT would only give you the code. Here the AI will build the game itself and show you the preview. So let's see for ourselves how good this AI is. So let's go ahead and create a project in Unity. I'm gonna be making an FPS shooting game. One thing I'm gonna follow in this experiment is that I'm not gonna be using any external assets, both for the AI game and also for my game, just to have a fair comparison. I'll start off by creating a plane. This is gonna be our ground where the player moves, and then I'm gonna add a capsule which is gonna be the player. Since this is an FPS game, I'm gonna attach the camera to the player. I created a simple first-person controller script which includes the movement of the camera and also the movement of the player. And now as you can see I can move around, but since there is a cursor around here I can't move properly, so let's just lock the cursor and hide it. Perfect, now we have our first person controller. Now let's make a simple gun model using the basic shapes available in Unity, and here we go. Wait, is it just me or this looks like a Japanese letter? I attach the gun to the player, and now when I press play, you can see that the gun moves around with the player. Great, now we need to add the shooting mechanics. I created a shooting script which shoots bullets from the gun. Then I created a bullet using the sphere mesh. I also made a crosshair using the Unity basic sprites. And now when I press play, you can see that the bullets do come, but they are not moving. So now I have to create a bullet script in order to move the bullets. This actually looks so cool. It's like a modern art piece. I then quickly made a simple bullet script, and now you can see that my bullets are moving, but not that much because it's actually moving really fast. You know, bullets are supposed to be fast. To show you that it's moving, I'll decrease the speed. Let's set the bullet speed from 100 to 10, and now you can see that the bullet is actually moving away. Since it was 100, you were not able to see it properly. Now let's set the play area. I want to increase the size of this plane and create walls around so that the player doesn't fall off. There you go, now we have our play area. Now in order for it to look better, I want to add textures, but as I told, I can't use any external assets, so I have to create the texture myself. I'm gonna open up paint.net. This is the app I use to draw my stickman videos. So now we have to create a sand texture. Let's just add this brown color and a much darker tone to put some dots around it. Yep, I think this is how sand looks like. As a person who hasn't stepped outside their house, the only grass I touched is in video games. Now let's create a wall texture. I think this is how brick texture looks like. If you don't know how a brick texture looks like, you haven't seen what is poverty. Alright, so I added sand texture and brick texture to my game, and now it looks way better because it has texture, and texture makes games good. Basically everything you see in a game is beautiful because of texture. Without texture, your favorite high graphics video game is gonna look like a pile of shit. And now for the last part of our game, we need to add enemies. I want these enemies to come towards us, and when they touch us, it's game over. You have to keep distance from enemies and shoot them, and it would go on forever. I'm gonna use nav mesh to make the enemy move around the plane, and I started creating the enemy script, and now you can see the enemy is moving towards us. And now I'm gonna add a function which decreases the enemy's health whenever he gets hit by a bullet. And then I made a game over screen which will be displayed when the enemy hits the player, and 2 seconds after the game reloads this same scene. Then I created a score system which increases by 10 whenever you kill an enemy. Now I want multiple enemies on the scene, so I decided to make spawn points throughout the map, and the enemies get spawned every 2 seconds randomly on any of the point, so this would make the game endless. Now I want to add some color gradings to the games to make it have a creepy feel. You know, now it looks like a bit too light-hearted. I want the game to have a dark vibe, so we're gonna have a red color theme overall. I'm gonna change the skybox color to red, and let's change the lighting a bit to have a darker tone. Let's add a vignette, and now it looks actually creepy. It actually feels like a nightmare. And that's about it. Our game is done. We have the enemies moving towards us. If we touch with the enemy, the game will be over, and we can kill the enemy if we shoot them 3 times. So the objective of the game is to score as much as possible before an enemy catches you. Great, so let's now see how AI is gonna make this without my coding input. Let's head over to Rosebud AI. First we are greeted with this interface, and you can see there are a lot of presets there ready to be used. We can remix them or we can start from scratch. So I told the AI to create an FPS shooting game. Let's see what it makes. So it seems like it's using 3.js to code the game, and it's making the code right now. Let's see how the output will be. Okay, that is weird. I don't know what it made. I think it's a wall surrounding us and there's no ground now. But there are a few cubes around. I think it means they are the enemies. When I press W, the player is going backward, and when I press S, the player is going forward. So let's just fix that. Let's tell the AI that the movement is weird and I want it to be fixed. Okay, now the movement is fixed, but the camera movement is weird because when I move to the side, it goes in an upward direction and it feels weird. This is not how a normal FPS game controls like. So let's tell that also to be fixed. Okay, finally it's fixed. Now I can move around and look the camera just like a normal FPS game. Now let's add a gun to the game, and when we shoot the enemy 3 times, it's gonna get destroyed, just like how it is in our game. There you go, the gun is working, but it looks like it's just a simple box, but we'll change that later. Now it looks weird moving around here because there's no texture. As I told before, a game without a texture looks like shit. But as I told, I can't use any external assets here also. So can AI make a texture itself? Let's try and see. I told the AI to create a brick texture and add it to the floor. Let's see if AI can make that. Whoa, there you can see AI actually made a brick texture itself and added it to the floor. This actually looks way better. When I added the texture, I realized that my player is moving a bit too fast. So I asked the AI to decrease the speed of the player, and it did so exactly. Okay, so our game actually had a sand texture, not a brick texture on the floor. So let's change the texture to a sand texture. Let's see if AI can make that. Okay, so the AI did make a sand texture, but the details on this texture are too fine. So unless you're watching this video on a 1080p or 4K, you can't notice the details. It may look like a solid plain color to you. I don't want this kind of texture. I want a bit more detailed texture so that it feels better when we are moving on top of it. So I told the AI to make the sand texture a bit more noticeable. I don't know if the AI would understand this. Let's see. Okay, wow, the AI did understand this, and now the sand looks way better when we're moving on top of it. I then told the AI to make the brick texture for the walls, but then it made this abomination. And then I told the AI to fix the UV mapping so that it can be visible from far away, and now it looks way better. Good job, AI. I told the AI to make the gun look a bit more realistic, and now it looks actually good. I then told the AI to make the sky texture. It looked kind of weird, but I guess it's better than a blue sky. You can actually import external assets in this AI, but I'm not doing so in order to have a fair comparison. Then I told the AI to spawn the enemies at regular intervals and make them follow the player. And now the enemies are getting spawned and also following the player. I did add the game over screen, but however, when I told it to reload the scene, it created this weird effect of I don't know how to explain this thing. Like, what is this? But it did reload the scene after this effect. So I guess you could say it's not a bug, it's a feature. And then I told the AI to make the enemies look like humans. It did make a human, but as you can see, it doesn't look that good. It actually added a hit effect whenever I shoot at the enemies, even though I did not tell him to make something like that. The last thing we need to add is the score system. I told the AI to increase the score by 10 whenever we hit an enemy, and it did the job perfectly. And then I told the AI to add shadows to the game to make it look more realistic. But that's when I realized the enemies were actually not on the ground, they were floating on air. This was the toughest part while making the whole game in this AI, because the AI was not able to understand what I was trying to say, and after a lot of arguing, it got finally fixed. It's not perfect, but it looks alright. And then, just as I did with my Unity game, I added some color grading to the game. I told the AI to make it a bit red colored theme, change the skybox to a red gradient, and add a vignette effect. And to enhance the creepy effect, I told it to add some cracks to the wall texture, and now it looks actually perfect. I mean, look at this. It looks like a real nightmare. I can't believe the AI actually made all this. And now you can see we made the same game using human brain and also AI. You guys can decide which one is the best. But one thing I can say in which the AI won is the time it took, because for me to make this game, it took almost 3 hours, while the AI did it in like 30 minutes with zero coding, just by giving it text prompts. Now, if you have the idea to make a game, but you don't have the time or money to invest in learning game development or hire a freelance game developer, Rosebud AI is recommended for you. You can try it out today itself by clicking the link below. Now, Rosebud is a paid platform, but if you use my promo code, you can get 1 month free. These are some other examples of some great games made by Rosebud AI. You can check them out in their site. It's all free to play. My favorite one is The Last Free Man, and this one actually is kind of similar to my game, but it's actually way cooler and a great concept too. Okay, I think I can win this. Damn, I'm actually getting pro at this game. Ah, crap, I spoke too soon. Do check out Rosebud AI today, and thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed or learned a thing or two. See you guys in the next video.